You called your friend ugly? For why? That just feels really unnecessary, and I can't imagine any scenario where I don't feel that way. I mean, I've been surprised before, but that just feels really, really unnecessary. I'm not a fan, I don't like it. Happy apple picking day! Some really quick reminders for any of our new friends. If you want to transfer your stories to be featured on Am I the Bad Apple, you can send them to my subreddit, r/amithebadapple. And as a reminder, we all come from different branches of the apple tree, and what that means is that we've all lived different lives and have different experiences. And I want to clarify, because I've seen a lot of weird people in the comment section use, oh, well, we all come from different branches of the apple tree, right? To defend having like a really hateful point of view. One example that comes to mind is like, I don't even remember what video it was, something about dating. And their comment was something along the lines of, oh, well, everyone just always goes for the naturally hot people, and all the naturally hot people are single for a reason because they suck as people, and we should be giving people who aren't attractive a chance because they're the only nice ones in the dating pool. What? And when I said that's a really rude thing to say and a very ignorant statement, oh, well, we all come from different branches of the apple tree. No, that's not what that means. We all come from different branches of the apple tree isn't a hall pass to just say hurtful things to people and say, oh, well, this is my toxic viewpoint, so I'm gonna keep it. It's a way to not villainize people for just growing up with certain ideas and not realizing how harmful they are and being able to learn from them. We all come from different branches of the apple tree, so we might not have different experiences. And that's not something to crucify someone for. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't continue to learn and educate and broaden your horizons. And it's not a hall pass to say, oh, this is the way I've always done things, and I hear what you're saying about it being toxic and ignorant, but I'm gonna keep doing it. Like, that's not how that works. So, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get started with this week's episode of Am I the Bad Apple? Let's go apple picking! Apple number 1. Am I the bad apple for asking my sister-in-law to rub sunscreen on my back even though I have back knee? Oh, I just started sweating a little bit. I, 31 female, have really bad back acne. I was going to the beach with my mom, 53 female, my brother, 28 male, and my brother's wife, 26 female. I don't know my sister-in-law very well, but she seems very sweet. She offered to rub sunscreen on my mother, and after she was done with my mom, I asked if she minded rubbing some on my back as well. She said she was happy to, and she did. But later that evening, my brother confronted me, saying that his wife has many issues, including social anxiety, and has a huge problem with saying no. He said she told him how uncomfortable she felt putting sunscreen on my back. He told me it was inconsiderate of me to ask someone who's not in healthcare to touch diseased skin. My sister-in-law continued being very sweet to me and my mother, but my brother seems very cold with me and very protective of his wife. So, am I the bad apple? I think this is one of those stories where there's gonna be a lot of different opinions, and I don't necessarily think there's like a immediate right or wrong. I think this is gonna go into like, this is a good example of different branches of the apple tree, because we're all gonna have different boundary levels, you know what I mean? And that's okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Hi, baby. You gonna come hang out? Hi, are you gonna sit? Can you sit? I love you. Would you rub sunscreen on my back? So I think it is reasonable for anyone to feel uncomfortable touching the back of someone that they don't know well. I think it's very reasonable for someone to feel completely comfortable with being asked to put sunscreen on someone who is a family member, even if they don't know them very well. I'm not gonna lie, as someone who suffered from like very, very acne prone skin as a teenager, if I didn't have somewhere to like wash my hands after applying sunscreen to like a part of someone's body that just had a lot of acne, I would be very self-conscious to like put on my own sunscreen and then touch my own face. And that's just a self-conscious insecurity thing that I have myself. I never will understand, like, if you don't have a person who can apply your own sunscreen, I don't understand why you wouldn't get the spray sunscreen. Personally, I feel like that's so much easier. In general, I don't know why more people don't use the spray sunscreens in general. I feel like, you know, I guess the rub-in lotion one is like better. I get that. But like, what were you planning on doing if your sister-in-law said no? Why didn't you ask your mom? Like, your mom is right there. Why wouldn't you ask your mom? Like, I understand, like, it feels like a natural progression. She offered to do her, and you're like, oh, can you do me next? I personally would never ask somebody that I didn't know to touch me, personally. And, you know, you guys might be different, and that's okay. That's my boundary. That's my personal boundary. I feel like you're not like the bad apple. I feel like it was involuntarily, I don't want to say a bad situation, but a not the best situation that sister-in-law might have felt a little peer pressured in the moment. Because I feel like if I were sister, like I would also not be able to say no, but then I would feel like very self-conscious about touching like my skin, my face, until I could wash my hands. So I'm going to go crab apple, because I don't think that you're a bad person for it. Like, there was no malicious intent. You're just living your life at the vacation. I agree that, like, socially it feels like a natural progression, but if you don't know this person very well and your mom is right there, I feel like, why didn't you just ask your mom? Hey, when you're done with your sunscreen, can you put some on my back? Mom's there for you, personally. And I know there's gonna be some people that don't agree, and they're like, I don't think it matters. I wouldn't care. That's fine. That's your own boundary. I think there are some people who hear this story and would be horrified because the idea of touching someone that they don't know freaks them out that much. Again, totally their prerogative. That's their boundary. That is okay. Everyone can have different boundaries. That's the whole idea of different branches of the apple tree. So I'm gonna go crab apple because I don't think she did anything like wrong or malicious, but I think that being a little bit more aware of the situation in the future could be a little better, personally. Apple number 2. Am I the bad apple for not accepting a birthday gift? I, 34 male, had my birthday earlier this month. I decided to celebrate with a small get-together at my place with some close friends. One of my friends, let's call him Jay, asked if he could bring along his friend, A. I said yes, even though, to be honest, I don't like A. I agreed because I know that Jay and A are very close, and even though I'm not a fan of A, I still want Jay to have a good time. Why don't I like A, you might ask? Well, he's that guy. The self-proclaimed best at everything. Pokemon master, Yu-Gi-Oh champ, Magic the Gathering king, Smash Bros legend. He brags a lot too, but I've only ever seen him play Pokemon once, and he lost against me. He constantly positions himself as an expert, and to make things worse, talking to him is like stepping into a gaslighting loop. He'll constantly say something wrong, and then you correct him with all the best intentions, and then he insists you were wrong in a very cutting and rude way, and eventually just circles back to your original point, but claims it was his all along. There are other things that he's personally done to me that have rubbed me the wrong way, but this should just give the general picture as to why I don't like him. At the party, one of my friends handed me a gorgeous keychain. Jay quickly interjected, joking that he didn't get me anything, but he still loves me, and right as he said that, A chimed in with a lot of pride, saying that he did get me a gift, but he forgot to bring it, and that I should stop by his store sometime to pick it up. I thanked him out of politeness, but honestly, I had zero intention of picking it up. Call me weird, but I'm the kind of person who believes a gift given with bad intentions can carry negative energy into your life, and I don't want that. A few days ago, Jay asked me if I picked up the gift. I was honest and told him that I don't feel comfortable accepting it. I appreciated the thought, but I couldn't in good conscience take it. It wouldn't feel genuine, more like I was accepting it out of politeness or materialism, not because I valued it as a gift from a friend. So I need to know. Am I the bad apple? Okay, I think that there are two separate issues here. Yeah, I think there's two separate issues here, and I'll say my rating after. I think there's the first issue that you just don't want to be friends with that person, and that's okay. You don't have to be A's friend. Like, you don't just, I feel like A wants to be your friend and has trouble making friends is the gist that I'm getting, and that Jay, like, tries to help him make friends. And you just don't want to be A's friend, and that's okay. You don't have to be A's friend. But if you don't want to be A's friend, then no, you don't have him come to your birthday party. And you, I wanted Jay to have a good time. This is your birthday. Like, if you want to put your foot down and say, I don't want to be friends with this person, then stop inviting him to intimate gatherings between you and your close friends. Because I feel like that's sending mixed signals to a person. If I had, I mean, there are people that my best friends are friends with that I don't particularly like. And if they were to say, can I bring this person to your birthday? I'd say, no. I love love you and I am glad that you can be friends with them, but no. And I'm a people pleaser. I feel like if someone is continually trying to be your friend and push themselves into your circle and you allow them, I feel like that's kind of wrong. Like, you're giving them mixed signals. If you don't want to be their friend, then don't be their friend. Don't invite them to your intimate birthday gathering or allow them to come to your intimate birthday gathering. Like, Jay is clearly trying to feel around for, like, if you're willing to accept him into your circle. And if you're not, then don't pretend like you are. And if Jay has no idea how you feel about A, like, I feel like you can tell that Jay wants to have A around and he has no idea how you really feel. Like, you're allowing him to set his friend up for failure. There's nothing wrong with just deciding you don't want someone in your life and you don't want to be friends with somebody, but then don't give them false hope and don't keep, like, getting their hopes up that there's going to be a friendship. It would be one thing if your birthday was like this big gathering with a bunch of people, but it wasn't. It was small and intimate and close friends at your house. And you're like, yeah, bring them for sure. That, I think, sends mixed signals to a person. Second of all, your whole thing is, well, I don't want to accept a gift with a bad intention. What bad intention are you referring to? Like, just because you don't like who a person is or you don't want to be their friend doesn't mean they're giving you a gift with a malicious bad intention. Like, it was a Pokemon card. I read the little update thingy. Okay, and it was used. Okay, what is malicious about that? That's not a bad intention. Like, a bad intention is giving you something, like giving you an outfit that they think you'll look stupid in, right? Or like setting you up for a prank. Like, that to me is giving someone a gift with a bad intention, not giving you a gift that you just don't like or maybe wouldn't appreciate. So, like, if you don't want to accept this gift because you don't like that person, that's fine. But don't put it on the other person. Well, it's a gift with bad intention. The only person that I feel like has actual bad intentions is, and I wouldn't even say bad intentions because that feels harsh, but like not positive intentions, is you. Okay, great. A's not a wonderful person that you enjoy spending time with. He brags, he likes to exaggerate his successes, whatever. Yeah, he's not someone that you should talk about video game things because he likes to say something wrong and then pretend like he was right the whole time. Yeah, trust me, I know the type. I promise I know the type. Nowhere in that do I hear this person has really bad intentions towards me, or this person's trying to set me up for failure, or this person's giving me a gift to maliciously have bad intentions or prank me or whatever. Like, I don't hear that. What I do hear is that you're inviting this person to a close, intimate gathering just to sit and talk to us about how much you don't like him and don't want to be around him and think his gift has bad intention. What bad intentions? You just need to separate from this person because, like, as someone who always tries to be other people's friends, it's not fair when someone really doesn't like you and doesn't make it clear that they don't want to be in your life and doesn't want to be your friend. It is way worse when you pretend that you're okay with someone and allow them to come around and just sit around and talk about them behind their back when they leave. That stinks. That's not fun, okay? No one likes to be that person. No one wants to be the person that everyone else secretly doesn't want around and is talking about and laughing about and, oh, well, this person has bad intentions. No, they don't. You just find them annoying and obnoxious and you don't like their personality, and that's fine. And it's your right to. Like, he sounds like I wouldn't like to be around him either. But then don't be that bully that sits there and makes him feel like he's welcome and pretends like it's okay and he's part of the group, but then sits on the side and makes fun of him when no one's looking. That just makes you the jerk. So I'm kind of teetering between crab apple and bad apple personally, because here's the thing. I don't think you're the bad apple for not wanting the gift, and I don't think you're the bad apple for not wanting to be his friend, but you aren't a good apple for pretending it's okay for him to be around and in the circle. So maybe I'll go crab apple, because I don't think you're like, I feel like people are gonna get upset if I go bad apple. And like, this is a different branch of the apple tree. Like, this is a story that I take personally, and that's fine. Not everyone is going to, but I don't like it. I'm not happy about it. Because I kind of agree with your friend Jay. Like, I think you are being dramatic about it and a drama queen, because why would you invite someone into your home and then, oh, I can't take their present because there's bad intentions associated. Well, then why would you invite that person to your home? That sounds exhausting, to be honest. Maybe I will go like soft bad apple. Like, I don't think you're the worst person in the world, but I definitely think that you need to look in the mirror a little bit when it comes to those bad intention comments, because you're making this other person out to be the villain. And here's the thing. They might not be acting appropriately when it comes to like the gaslighting about video game things and the bragging. Like, at the end of the day, like, who cares? Who cares if they say that they're the best at Super Smash Brothers? Who cares if they said that they're the best at Pokemon? Who cares? You don't have to play with them. Who cares? Like, you're 34 years old. I feel like there should be other things that are more important in your life than to dwell on that. And I'm not saying that it's not a big deal. I'm saying that, okay, that's not the kind of person you want to hang around with. Move on. There are other things to worry about than someone else wanting other people to think they're the best at Yu-Gi-Oh! But in your refusal to like actually be honest about your feelings, he might be the bad apple in general. Like, you're taking a situation where he's just not a person that people want to hang out with, and you're creating a situation where he kind of starts looking like a victim. You're doing that with your actions and being two-faced about it. Like, you just are. And if you would just stand your ground and be honest, not invite him into your private intimate gatherings, then he would just stay that annoying jerk that like people don't want to hang out with, right? But you're kind of making him a victim in his own right, like in my opinion. So I'm going crab apple for that too. Apple number 3. Am I the bad apple for not making breakfast for the kids in my house? My 36 male sister, 34 female, moved into my house about 2 months ago with her children, 7 male and 4 female. They did this after she ended a really bad relationship. I've always been an early-ish riser and like to get up and make myself breakfast around 7 or 8. Nothing spectacular, just whatever I feel like that day. When my sister moved in, I quickly realized she likes to sleep in. Some days she woke up as late as 1 p.m. I gave her the benefit of the doubt since I know how hard her breakup was for her. Since my sister slept so late daily, she wouldn't get up to take care of her children. I got into a routine with my niece and nephew that basically whatever I cooked myself for breakfast, I'd make enough for them as well. Until the other morning. I woke up and had this huge urge to make Huevos Red Churros, and the kids immediately started complaining that they didn't want that and wanted something else. I was nice and ended up making them pancakes since it's not their fault that their mom is really struggling. The next morning, I was making breakfast potatoes and eggs, but all I heard was, "We don't want that. We want something different." So again, I obliged, and after 3 mornings of my unwanted food critics getting a separate meal, I finally told them I'm no longer cooking 2 different meals for breakfast. If you don't want what I'm making, you can go ask your mom to get up and do something about it. So they went upstairs to wake her, but she still didn't come downstairs before 1 p.m. And the kids immediately started complaining that I refused to feed them, and my sister was pissed. She started on about how they need to be fed by a certain time and a bunch of other things that she said just to try and intentionally hurt me. But I snapped and told her, "Look, I know you're depressed, but wake up for once and take care of your own freaking kids instead of expecting me to do it." She got quiet, and after that, started giving me the cold shoulder. And I know that she's expecting me to apologize for that, but I don't. I feel like I'm not their parent. Am I the bad apple? I have said this in a lot of stories before, that sometimes people don't realize that their children aren't everyone else's responsibility. And here's the thing, I think that you're completely in the right. The one thing that I would tweak a little bit is that I feel like you should have had a conversation with her about the breakfast situation. Not even just like as a like, hey, you need to get it together, but just as like a, hey, I know you're not doing well. What is the plan for the kids for breakfast? Or like the first time that, if you're okay with just making more of what you're making for yourself, after the first time that you had to make 2 different things, I would go to her and say, hey, I'm fine with this little routine that I have, but today they wanted something different. What can we have in the house? Like either you need to be up or we need to have something in the house that if I'm making something that they don't like, I can just pop it in the microwave, or I don't have to like make something, like whether it's a kind of cereal or those, I don't know, do they have like those freezer flapjack things? I don't know what they have for kids breakfast these days. I was always a cereal kid. Or like Eggo's waffles, those are good, right? I think that's reasonable. I feel like this is a very brother-sister dynamic. If this were something like going on with me and my brother would just say, hey, let's talk about this. That's the only thing that I would tweak, is to bring it up to her in a helpful, productive manner before it gets to the blow up. Because I feel like right now, even though she's in the wrong, like yes, being depressed and going through a rough time does not mean that you're not a mom, right? It just doesn't. Those are your children, and she's very lucky to have you as a brother, and it's so great that you are helping out as much as you are, but she's still a mom, right? I feel like approaching it in a way to like check in on her. Hey, what's going on with you? How can I support you? What are we doing to get you back on track? What can we do? And again, like, it's not that it's your responsibility, but like you offered her to come into your home. This is your sister. Again, everyone's gonna have like different boundaries with this. But for me, if this was my brother, if I offer someone to come into my home, like, I feel I gotta check in on them. Like, I offered my space, I offered my home. You know, John and Sarah, I think I told you guys, my friends John and Sarah are gonna be in my guest room for a while. Long story short, the house that they were going to buy, it didn't work out. Happens, housing market is crazy right now. But like, I wanna check in on them. Hey, you got everything you need. What's going on? What can I do for you guys? It's like very different situations, but like, you know, I personally feel like if I invite someone into my home, I feel like a sense of responsibility for their well-being, and I know not everyone's going to do that. That's fine. That's just my own personal thing, and that's okay. And I'm still going good apple, but I just think that a conversation should have been had before the blow up. So like, I would not be against anyone going crab apple, but I think that there's just so much good that you're doing. I don't want to negate that by going crab apple personally, so I'm going to go good apple. But yeah, I think just, you know, having a conversation beforehand, that would fix everything in my opinion. Not everything, but like, you know what I mean. Apple number 4. Am I the bad apple for calling my friend ugly? My friend, 19 female, downloaded dating apps like Tinder and Hinge, all those for the first time about a week ago. For reference, she's the type to always say how much she wants a boyfriend and talk about wanting to do couple things and just feels so lonely single, blah, 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 blah. She's also, in my opinion at least, very normal and average looking. Like, she's not ugly, but she's not super hot either. She's just okay. Well, since then, she's been complaining to me that almost all the men on the apps are ugly or short or poor, etc, 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 and she doesn't match with anybody hot. I asked to see which people she was calling ugly, so she showed me her likes, and it mostly showed people perfectly in her league, as in moderately attractive guys. I told her these guys were all in her league and she should just give some of them a chance, and she always complains about wanting a relationship. She denied that she's in the same league as them and said that she's much hotter than they are. I pointed out that in her own words, she doesn't match with any of the guys she finds attractive, so obviously they're not in her league. Well, she called me a jerk. I don't think I am. I think I'm just being realistic. So, am I the bad apple? Yeah, what? In what world is that appropriate or kind? Well, you're not matching with the guys that you want because you're not hot enough. What? Like, do I think that the friend is being superficial and not the best because she's judging everyone on whether they're tall enough or whether they're attractive enough or whether they make enough money? Yeah, that's superficial. Very materialistic. Not my cup of tea. At the same time, people have preference. Like, I like tall guys. I'm gonna be honest, as I've been meandering through the dating world, like, I've met some very nice guys who were 5'6", 5'8", and like, I'm a very short person, but like, I prefer tall guys. I think that it's very important that you be attracted to the person that you're with. I don't think that's unreasonable to want to be attracted to them. Now, like, complaining about their careers and how much money they make, like, you're 19 years old. What do you mean they don't make enough money? Most of them probably aren't out of college yet, if they're going to college. Like, no one at 19 years old is gonna be like making the big bucks yet. Like, I think that's unreasonable personally, but that doesn't mean that I think you should tell your friend, hey, you're not hot enough for these guys, lower your standards. That's just rude. That's so rude. Not only that, but like, that's just blatantly an ignorant comment to make, because first of all, you're not a guy, right? You're another girl. You don't know what those guys are going to find attractive. You have no idea if they find her average. You have no idea if they find, like, you have no idea. Because you don't date girls. If you don't date girls or you're not a guy, you don't know what people who date girls is looking for. Like, the way that men and women portray beauty, very different. So like, you have no reason to say that. Second of all, just because you find these guys she's matching with as, okay, they're moderately attractive. She might not find them attractive at all because everyone has different tastes. Let me tell you, some of the guys, some of my best friends are like, oh, he's hot. I'm like, interesting choice of words. We have different tastes, and that is okay. You two might have very different tastes. To just tell your friend like you're not hot enough for the guys that you want, that's just mean. That's so mean. If you want to like actually be helpful, maybe instead suggest, hey, maybe the apps aren't the best place to look. Why don't we go to a bar or go do an outside activity or an out in public activity and meet some people? Maybe the apps isn't the best way for you to meet somebody. But to just tell her that she's ugly and isn't gonna find what she's looking, like that's just rude. Like, are you her friend? Because it doesn't sound like to me that you are. I would never, ever, ever, ever tell any of my friends that I think they were anything less than beautiful. Like, that's not a good friend. I'm going bad apple. I'm borderline, like, I don't even know what the beginning part even means. Well, she's always someone that says she wants to find a person. So what? Is that supposed to be like a ding to her character? Or are you saying that because she's desperate to find a person, she should just settle for whoever will be with her? That's not how you find a healthy relationship. You don't just be with someone to say you have a person. Like that's toxic. Do I think that she's got it all figured out? No. I think that the like complaining, saying that people are duds because they're short, I don't like that. Saying that they're duds because they're not making the big bucks at 19, I don't like that either. Like complaining about let's be realistic for a second. I know some people are gonna hate this comment. Complaining about the looks of people on an app to someone who you think is your best friend, I think is a normal response. Like when you say it out loud, like in a public setting, like if you were to say it out loud in a public room, people would be like, oh, that's really awful. But when you're just having a conversation with you and your best friend, I feel like that's a very normal thing to talk about. So I'm not going to villainize her for not being attracted to the people she's finding on the apps. I think there's a difference between saying I prefer someone taller versus saying this person's a dud because they're short. Like it's all about how you say things, like the language that you use is important. You can have a preference when dating, but that doesn't mean that you make someone look like a loser because they don't have the physical characteristics that you're looking for. Like I don't like that personally. And she's only been on it for a week, so I feel like that's also like it's been a week. It's been 1 week. I have friends who've been on some of those apps for years. Like I feel like there's gonna be some people out there that are like, well, she needs to be egoed, she needs to be humbled. What do you gain by that? What do you gain? Like bottom line, you should never just settle for a relationship to say that you're in a relationship. Encouraging her to do so, well, I'm just trying to humble her so she just gives someone else a chance. Why would you ever want to be with someone who doesn't find you attractive? Like to those guys, they're like, well, just give the less attractive guys a chance. Why would you ever want to be with someone who doesn't find you attractive? I think you should always be attracted to your partner. Always. And if they don't find you attractive, then they're not the one for you. So what does humbling someone like that terribly actually do for you? Nothing. Nothing. It makes your friend feel bad about themselves. And it makes them self-conscious. Like, why would you want that for your friend? It might make them settle for a relationship they shouldn't be settling for because you're pressuring them into it. Like, these are not good things. These are not wins. So I personally am going, I don't know if I'm gonna go bad. I don't think she's done or said anything so egregious into where I would go bad batch, like for everybody. I definitely think OP is the bad apple for sure. I'm trying to decide if I want to go bad batch or just bad apple. Maybe I will go bad batch just for like there's a difference between having a dating preference and making someone seem like a dud of a person or a loser just because they're not as tall as you want them to be, or they're not, so settled in their career at 19 years old, like that feels really unrealistic and unfair. So maybe I will go bad batch, I suppose. All right, so I got 2 crab apples, a bad batch, and a good apple. At least that's what I got. I would love to know if you got anything similar or different. Definitely let me know down in the comments. And as always, if you want a chance for your stories to be featured on Am I the Bad Apple, you can send it to my subreddit, r/amithebadapple. And for your well wishes today, it is National Postal Worker. If you work in the post world, we thank you for your service. And also Postage Stamp Day today. I don't know the last time I bought postage stamps, but maybe today's the day. Maybe I go find some little cute ones. It is also National Creative Ice Cream today. That's a heck yeah for my cheesecake ice cream lovers out there, because that's my favorite. National Ginger Snap Day, which it looks like a cookie. I've never had one before, but maybe today is the day that I try it. I'm here for it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day and hope to see you all next week. Bye, my lovelies. Mwah.